It's a life of a fisherman you wouldn't understand. Something you can't feel on dry land. Gotta get your arms way up in a cage and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. Gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loomis rod. I bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck, give it a whirl. Hello, welcome to my world.
What's going on, all you Facebook Live and YouTube Live fishing freaks? It's been approximately 2 weeks since you saw our ugly mugs on here. Things happen. We had Halloween around, and JR just broke into the Big 4-0 Club yesterday. So happy birthday, dude! If you guys want to give him some like glide baits and stuff,
Yep.
he's got a PO box somewhere he can ship it to. But it is November 11th, 2025. Appreciate you guys joining us. We're going to talk about Shimano Owners Tournament, talk about what we got going on, and talk about some new baits, and also talk about some new things that are coming down the pipe with baits and things. It's that time of year. It seems a little bit weird, but JR and I will be headed down to Cumberland this weekend to fish the Shimano Owners Tournament. He's going to be fishing with Jared, and Dusty's going to be fishing with me in my boat. There's still time to enter the Shimano Owners Tournament. If you have not, you can get with any dealer that's participating in the state of Kentucky. Borders in our area is the closest one. If you're down around Lexington, there's like Backwoods Outfitters or whatever it is out there. There's Cane Pole. There's several of them down that way. But anywhere in Kentucky that is a participating Shimano dealer, you can pick up anything that is $100 or more, and you don't have to do that now. If you bought that anytime this year and you have a receipt for it, you can enter the tournament. It's a free tournament. They're paying out something like, I think it's like $2,000 for the first place, but that's mostly gear. They give a lot of Shimano stuff away. There is a G-Loomis tournament just like this, and I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe I've been told that Drew's going to be holding that sometime in December. So if you like fishing Lake Cumberland in the really, really cold months, this tournament might be for you. I'm going to go, and I'm going to fish how I want to fish for the first half of the day. That's going to be power fishing, and if I'm still catching them at noon, great. If not, I'm going to pull out the old sonar minnow, and I'm going to go catch some striped bass.
Why not, man? I've never been there, so I'm just gonna thumbs up somehow. I'm going to dink around and just have fun with it.
One thing I will tell you, the farther you go down the lake towards the dam, there is a time change. So don't trust your phone, look at your graphs, because that could get you in trouble. You'll be coming back at 3:30 instead of 2:30 for weigh-in, and that's not going to be, it's no bueno. Really quick, before we talk about anything else, this episode brought to you by Hannah Sublett Insurance Broker. She has been a huge sponsor of mine for this year, protecting your health, securing your future. Give her a call at 740-456-7944 if you're interested in life or health insurance in Kentucky, West Virginia, or Ohio. She can get you taken care of. She saved my buddy Jason Irvin, who is a high-risk patient, something like $1,000 a month on insurance the other day, and that is absolutely crazy.
Awesome.
So she knows her stuff. She's not like State Farm or anything like that where you just have to go with her rates. She'll shop around, find what's best for you, be able to save you some money, and if not, the consultation is free, so give her a call. She might be able to save you some money. She has also talked about coming on as a sponsor for next year for me as well. And we'll talk about the next trip that I have coming up this spring in just a minute. But one thing I will tell you about Cumberland is I've been there several times. What is that?
I was just saying happy Veterans Day.
Oh, yeah, Veterans Day, for sure. Thank you, men and women out there that are protecting our future, for sure, because I don't have the guts to do it, to be honest with you. If we were drafted today I think I could probably do it because you had to, but I'm super glad that I didn't have to, because those men and women, we can sit here and talk about this stuff.
Wish I was at Gunnersville, Brandon. I'm jealous.
Yeah, man. Same. I guess they've been munching. I saw somebody, who was it?
Brad.
Well, no, I saw one. Yeah, Brad's been down there too, but I saw one of the pros the other day that was actually yesterday that was punching and still catching the fire out of fish down there. I guess, that lake sets up like you can do whatever you want to. You can go throw a frog or you can go throw a spinnerbait on a ledge or whatever. Pretty cool deal. It's cool, man. So if you catch them up down there, Brandon. Mark Hickey in the house. What's up, my bud? What's happening? I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend. Probably throwing spinnerbait, jerkbait. Yeah, man. I tell you what, if you guys are out there looking for a great jerkbait, the Shimano Zunverno it's that time. Really good time. Blade baits are coming into play right now with the water temperature getting low. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. It's been out for several years, and this is why pros are pros, to be honest with you. They come up with some really cool ideas with baits and things to increase their hookup ratio. And I don't know who initially first done this, hard to say, but people are now tying braided loops for split rings on blade baits. That causes your bait to be able to move. Your hook would be here, and the hook can stay stationary while that braid moves back and forth. So it doesn't act as like a lever to pull the hook out of the fish's mouth. Pretty daggone cool. I don't have a video on that stuff. I've made a few of them. I personally don't use a blade bait enough to think that it actually helps them that much, but I think it would if you throw a blade bait a lot, especially spotted bass, smallmouth, things that go, bump in the night, jumping in everywhere. It's crazy. That's definitely something you should probably look into. There's a bunch of videos online for it. Again, I don't have any videos on my YouTube channel. Tyler Williams in the house. What's up?
It's a big TVA thing. I mean, they use a lot of blade baits, but I don't know. I seem to always catch white bass, not so much smallmouth, largemouth spots on them personally. So I'm not as pumped up about a blade bait.
Matthew Strickland in the house. Congratulations on that deer, dude. Heck of a deer you got yesterday. Most people right now, much like Matthew, are in the tree stand. And JR and I are talking about going fishing this weekend. And I used to be super, super, super big into archery and hunting whitetail deer. Matter of fact, that's how I got started filming anything that I do outdoors. Was myself and like 10 other people started this outdoor archery filming hunting club, if you will. We were hunting and we were filming each other. And dude, you think it's tough to film a fishing show? You ought to go out and try to kill a giant buck with somebody else in the tree stand with you. They don't get that big for nothing. It's pretty crazy. I've always said though, when you kill a deer, that's when the work starts, man. Dragging that thing out of there and gutting it and skinning it and cutting it up and all that stuff, man. It's just like especially if you kill one in the evening. If you kill one like at dark, it's midnight before you go to bed. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think our buddy Brent got one today too in Kentucky. So that is Strick likes Watts Bar blade baits. See, there you go, TVA, man. They love it there.
This is a first for me. I have this is a Corrado I series right here that I use to throw topwater on. You can see I got like 60 pounds super slick on there. Look at this. I don't know if you guys could tell that, but the spool doesn't spin.
Oh.
I sheared the pin. There's a pin that goes to the spool. It's going to be tough for me to show you this here because you're not going to be able to see it right off the rip because my camera is not real close to me. But I sheared the ends of the pin that holds the spool into the drive gear on this thing. Casted into a log, didn't know it was, had a fish blow up on it. You can't really see it, but there's a pin that goes through this spool right here, and I sheared both ends of it off. So I don't know if I can still buy those or if I have to buy a whole new spool for the reel, but it's the first time I've ever blown up a Shimano reel. But that reel's like
work.
What is it?
I said solid work.
Yeah. That reel's like 8 years old, 9 years old, so I'll take it. If you guys don't know, have you guys ever really looked at the braking system on a Shimano spool? These things actually get flung out. They're centrifugal braking systems. So when you throw the spool spins and these little brakes come out, unless you have them snapped together like this one. This one won't move. So these two move. I have two off and two on. Allows you to, dial in baits and stuff better. The great thing about this is that with most Shimano reels, and I just touched my camera so it went off, so I'll figure that out in a second. But with most Shimano reels, you can adjust that on the fly. Watch doing that on a, let's see, what was it? The Chronarch CI4 Plus. The side cover comes off, and it doesn't have a pin that connects it to the side of the reel. And you can drop them in the water. I have not personally done that, but I know somebody who did.
I definitely like how you can, on most of the reels now, they've got that, kind of fine tuning thing as opposed to having to take the, the side off, just because I'm always scared I'm going to lose something when I take it off, especially if I'm fishing.
Yeah, external brakes. You guys can't see anything that I'm working on right now, which is weird, but let's do this. Crap. Maybe I can get back on here. Oh, I took JR off.
It's okay.
This has that too, that external brake adjustment, but if you need to pull the cover and pop that thing on there, pretty great. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm gonna do this weekend. Definitely gonna have a jerk bait tied on, spinner bait. I do have a bunch of buzz baits tied up. If you guys are interested in some Firebird buzz baits, I'm gonna try to take some over to Brad at Borders. If you're interested in getting your hands on some over there, he might be able to hook you up with them. I'm not sure how that's going to work because I am in the process of getting a business license. Once I get a business license, he'll be able to sell them for me. But right now, I don't have a tax ID. I'm just filing taxes on my personal stuff. So there might be some over there eventually. I'm really excited for going down to Cumberland. Cumberland is one of those lakes that I absolutely hate. I'm not going to lie to you. It's giant. It's a freaking massive lake. Last year, Jared and I ran all the way from Burnside all the way down past Conley Bottom. The day before, I went to some spots that I knew were pretty big players in the Cumberland area for me anyway. They're not obviously community holes because there's hardly ever anybody on them. But I found some spots that hold some fish normally. I went last year pre-fishing. And I promise you, I didn't beat these banks and these coves that I'm talking about up. I would pull up in one and I would catch a fish and I would move on. Like I did not beat them up. In the pre-fish between like 7 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning until about 4 o'clock at night, hour before dark, we had to go to a meeting for the Shimano Owners Tournament. I had 17 pounds in my best five, which I'll take that any day of the week down there. And then we ran all the way from, I put in a Conley Bottom to pre-fish because it's basically mid-lake. And then knowing what I know now, we ran all the way from Burnside all the way down past Conley Bottom, almost to the dam. We ran like 44 miles one way to get to some fish. Pulled up in this spot that I, caught the biggest fish of the pre-fish day. Jared threw out a spook or something, some kind of topwater walking bait and got blown up by an absolute hammer of a smallmouth. Missed his bait. I ended up catching one on a spinner bait, caught a couple on a jerk bait. We spent a couple hours live scoping fish, ended up with like 4 fish, couldn't find that 5th fish. Ended up about 1 or 2 pounds out of the, I guess, out of the paid places, that's why they call it fishing and not catching. Ran the fire out of the old Evinrude though. I put close to 100 miles on it in the weekend. That's the one thing I always hear about an Evinrude engine. Everybody gives them crap, which I will say, they aren't the greatest engines in the world, but most people say if you run them wide open, they usually don't mess up. And mine goes from 0 to wide open throttle pretty much every time it's on the water.
How many people were in it last year? I'm just curious as to the crowd.
There was probably 40 boats last year. I don't know. I didn't fish the Shimano. I didn't fish the Shimano one. We fished the Loomis Owners Tournament, but it's practically the same. I think the Loomis Owners Tournament pays a little better as far as places because they always give like a Interact Plus for first and second place, which is $650 or $675. I figured that they would give away a Poison Ultima for first place in the Shimano side, but they didn't. I think I think it's a Poison Adrena, isn't it? The first place is 2 Poison Adrenas.
I think so. Yeah, for this one, I looked at the flyer. I think it's Adrena for both co-angler and which I mean, I love that rod, but I don't know. I think I kind of have a negative outlook on the lake just because everybody I talk to and all the videos I watch are like dink fest or just tough, and I feel like I've had enough tough fishing this year. I want to go somewhere good.
It's tough for me. I will say, me and Kyle pulled up on this one point one time for the Shimano Owners Tournament, and we caught 4 fish right off the rip. I'm talking like within the first 20 minutes of the tournament. We probably had 12 pounds and 4 fish. We're like, heck yeah, man, we're going to be freaking good. We're going to run this pattern all day. We never caught another fish. Yeah, Fred, I'm thinking about giving Dan a call. I usually work on my own reels. Got a DC here that needs cleaned. I've usually got them tore apart here on this table. But Dan is the man. I'll definitely have to give him a call. I think I just need to get a new pin for that, for the spool, because it'll catch every now and again, but it sheared just a minute amount off from it, so it doesn't get caught into that. I can't think of what that gear is actually called, though. Might throw a blake bait down there. This is the time of year where a lipless crankbait comes into handy for me. I got an Alabama rig tied on.
Yeah, shoot, man, I've got 20 rods and reels probably in the boat right now. I got a little bit of everything. It's kind of one of those, I don't have a clue what to expect. All I know is, it's kind of a Highland Reservoir kind of look with a lot of, really steep rock bluffs and things like that. So, of course, I'm thinking drop shot and jig, things like that. But I don't know. I tend to actually really like fishing rock, so I look forward to that.
Problem is, man, it's not going to be as bad because it's hopefully, I don't know, I haven't looked at the water level, but they should be down to winter pool, hopefully. Which
not still cooling.
They drop at like 33 or 34 feet for winter pool.
That's so unreal amount.
Then, for me, it makes it easier for me to find fish because, one, there's less water, right? I mean, it's not like shooting fish in a barrel, but it's definitely you're bettering your odds for sure. You can look at things that, especially on a graph, that would hold fish, and another thing is that, and I'm sure you can do this on every other graph manufacturer on the planet too. I'm not sure, but the reason I like Humminbird is that with the Lake Master card, you can actually set the lake level to be where it is. So normally when I was down there last year, I set it was at winter pool, which is negative 33 feet from summer pool. So if you go by that, one of the things that'll get you in trouble with is that your graph thinks that there's more water in the lake than there actually is, because if you don't offset that depth range by whatever the water is at, you may be running over stuff that you think should have 30 foot of water on it, and it may not have more than a foot or two. But another thing about that is that when I pull that down to have a water level offset of like 33 feet or whatever it is when we get there on Friday and Saturday, it allows me to check water off that's no longer there, like spots that you would probably see fish in the spring and summer when it's up there to summer pool. It doesn't play this time of year because there's no water in it, right? There's fish are not going to be living up in there because they're not going to be able to swim and breathe. What's up, Tony?
Yeah, man, good to see you at the tournament down there, Tony. It's always good to get to hang out, and I know we live far from each other, but it's cool every time we run into each other.
Tony, to be honest with you, I got my rear end whipped. Like it was frustrating. I'm sure you saw my post, and first off, that made it look like I was like complaining. I wasn't. I should have put like LOL or ha at the end of it, because it was. First off, I was out of Lawrence County, Ohio, so that's like a plus, number one right there. I got to go down and hang out with my buddy Dusty, who lives in a campground. Really nice camper in Graham, North Carolina. So I spent the very first day, I drove down. Dusty, I thought, had to work. Turns out he didn't. He ended up going to another lake with his boat. But I drove directly to Falls Lake, which is where I've caught my personal best at for the rest of my whole life, which is not a giant. It's about 7 pounds. But I went to Falls, and I ran all over that lake. First off, I didn't realize Falls was as big as it is. And it's not giant, but it's like a big river channel that just swings forever once you get past way up in there. But I ended up catching 2 fish that whole day on that lake. 3 fish. I got 2 largemouth and a channel cat. The channel cat was on a crankbait, and I caught the 2 largemouth. I caught one on a spinnerbait, and I caught one live scoping, trying to find more fish because I was getting my rear end whipped. And I was actually looking for crappie. I was looking for crappie schooled up and had a crappie jig, and ended up catching one largemouth that was about 15 inches. The other one on the or the spinnerbait was about 2.5 pounds or so. So I go back to Dusty's place. They ended up fixing us steaks and stuff that evening. And I got up the next morning, and Dusty and Terry Lee, his fiance, and I hopped in my boat, and we went to Hyco. Hyco is a really cool lake. It's a crazy lake. First off, it's a power plant fed water lake, which it means the water is warmer than normal. Water temperature at Hyco Lake was 74 degrees. The air temperature was like 38, which was crazy. We went there and absolutely had a ball. We didn't catch any giants. Biggest one was like 3 pounds. We found this big rock flat. We're throwing some Carolina rigs and stuff in there. Dusty caught one about 3 pounds. That was early in the morning. Saw fish everywhere on that flat, just could not get them to react to anything. It was nuts. Probably because it was bluebird skies, it was cold front, etc. But I just picked up a Texas rig Zoom speed crawl with a 3/16 ounce weight and went and started pitching dropped wood or laydowns in the water, and we flat whacked the 12 to 18 inch bass. It was so much fun. We caught like 40 bass. One thing I will tell you, I don't know what they do for a living around Hyco Lake or what cartel they work for, but I want to know if they're hiring. Dude, I saw some of the most giant houses on this. Hyco's like a crazy lake anyway, because not only is it warmer because of the power plant, it's like a private lake where you have to pay so much per year. It's like $70 a year to put your boat on there. It's like $35 a day or $70 a year or something. But it was really cool. So we started catching a fire out of those fish, started finding some fish that were schooled up. They were chasing shad, caught a few of those. And I had one of the most unforgettable experiences that I haven't had since I was an actual little kid the other day when we were on Heiko. Everywhere you looked around that lake was persimmon trees. And I remember when I was a kid eating persimmons deer hunting. I just mentioned that I like the deer hunt. I used to. So I remember my dad and uncles and things walking through the woods and seeing persimmons on the ground and, pouring some water over from your water bottle and eating them. And they're really good. They have like 15 seeds in them. So you obviously don't want to just chomp down on them. But I learned a very valuable lesson this past weekend. And that is that you never, ever, ever pick a persimmon off of a tree and eat it. It is absolutely full of tannins that will dry your mouth out.
That's what I was going to say. I never could eat them.
They will dry your mouth out so much. I'm not kidding. This is gross, but I had to dig it out of my mouth because it soaked up every speck of saliva I had in my mouth. But when I ate the half that I had first, and I gave Dusty one, and he was like trying to get a seed out of it because there's like an old wives' tale. If you cut a persimmon seed open, you can see if like a spoon or a fork or whatever, if you're going to have a bad winter or whatever. Well, Dusty just threw the other half in his mouth, and he was about 3 seconds too late because if he had waited 3 seconds, he wouldn't have had to went through it. But man, I tell you what, I remember eating them when they were on the ground. They're really good. I really liked them. They weren't that dry. I'm telling you, like they were so dry that if I didn't have water in the boat, I would have probably, there's no probably about it. I would have drank lake water. My mouth was that dry. What's up, Jack?
Baymax is making an appearance as he does every day at our house.
Nice.
Bro, I literally live with you. Are you stupid?
Then the next day, Dusty had to work, so that would have been Sunday. We went to Heiko. Monday I went by myself. I went to Jordan and Jordan Lake. I talked to Tony. Tony told me I should probably go to Jordan. The weather was absolutely miserable on Monday. It was a cold front. It was just on the verge of snowing at one point before noon. No sun. Overcast, wind. I'm talking like the most perfect spinnerbait conditions on the planet. Through a spinnerbait, through a crankbait, through a Carolina rig, through a drop shot, through Texas rig, through a chatterbait, through a blade bait, a lipless crankbait, you name it, through everything I could possibly think about catching a fish, and nothing was doing. So I was like, God, what is going on? So everything in Jordan Lake is like this. It's like this big bowl everywhere. And it's like, if you're like 100 feet off the bank, you're still only in like 4 foot of water. It's like this. I don't know. It's weird, man. It's like really flat. When you get out towards the middle, there's some drop offs. There's some trees in the middle of it. Obviously a man-made lake. But I looked on my graph and I found some creek channels that were back about mid-lake there. And I found some banks that were they weren't sheer drop-offs, but they were way steeper than the rest of the lake. I went there, started throwing a crankbait on those deeper points like that, and I caught 3 bass at Jordan until I was there till 1:30 in the afternoon. And I got tired of getting my rear end kicked there, so I went and put my boat on the trailer and drove to Sharon Harris. And when I got to Sharon Harris, there was some old man that was picking up litter, picking up trash on the boat ramp. And the guy said, well, I can tell you what I've been hearing. I said, bud, I'm from Ohio, so you can tell me whatever you want. I said, I'm probably not going to catch them. I only got a few more hours to fish. And he said, well, these fish are super shallow. He said there was a 10-pounder caught last week, and he said they were caught so shallow, I don't know how you didn't see the fish's fin sticking out of the water. Which Sharon Harris is kind of like Jordan in the fact that 100 feet off the bank, you're still only in 4 foot of water. So it was really weird. So I'm thinking, how shallow is shallow? So I went everywhere trying to find fish. I had 3 hours again, ran all the way around the lake. Sharon Harris is not that big. I went from shallow to deep to ended up finding 4 fish on some strategically placed lay down timber that they had cut down for fish habitat. I caught 4 fish using a a Zoom speed crawl, the one very same one I used the day before at Heiko, and I caught 4 fish off of 3 trees that were downed, and that's all I caught there too.
That's kind of how Sam Rayburn is, man. You're like way off the off the bank, and it is all like 2 feet of water. It's really odd.
Yeah, I mean, there's some hammers in all those lakes down there. Again, Falls is a great place. Jordan, Tony, and actually I didn't know anything about it until Tony told me. They've been putting F1s in Jordan for several years now, which is, I mean, I saw a post there not too long ago in the fall, maybe it was the spring. Some 2 guys in a bass tournament had a 40-pound bag at Jordan.
Whew.
That's knocking them down, setting them up, knocking them down.
Yeah,
had a little early snowfall, which is probably going to change the pattern. Tomorrow, 57 degrees.
Yeah, man. I'm ready for that.
Did you just say my big man?
I'm ready to go back up.
Are you right?
Yeah, I'm sleeping in a tent this weekend down at Cumberland, so I hope it does warm up a little bit. I got a heater with a thermostat, so I'm excited about that. I'm ready to go fishing. This might be the last tournament of the year, unless I get crazy and go down there for the Loomis tournament, owners tournament also. Don't know. But I'm going to go give her a heck of a shot and see what happens. And worst I can do is just have to drive 4.5 hours home or 4 hours home with no new rods.
Yeah, it's not too far, which I kind of hope it's good. I hope I like that lake just because it's so close, but in comparison to the other ones we go to, but again, all I hear is kind of negative things. So I hope I'm pleasantly surprised, but we shall see.
I will say that in the wintertime, it's easier to fish than the summertime for me. I can catch more fish in the wintertime. Dude, I'm not kidding you though. There's some of the biggest striped bass you've ever seen in your life in that lake. I mean,
I definitely saw some
giants.
really big ones caught, like, in the videos I've been watching in comparison to everything else.
Yeah, I don't know. I just would not get your hopes up. Hopefully, if you go down there and catch them, you do. But I wouldn't go down there and think you're going to weigh in 20 pounds because I've never done that. Again, the best day I've ever had down there was this time last year. I think it was was it November? I think it was mid-November, maybe early December. Went down there and Jared and I, the day before, Jared got there about halfway through the day because he had a basketball game or something. His kids had a basketball game. But I had 16, 17 pounds on my best 5. It just doesn't happen down there for me. But, I mean, it may take 20 pounds to win it, or it may take 10. You just never know.
Yeah, it's like, man, they're doing that on Yatesville.
Yeah, for sure. So I said, I drove all the way to North Carolina to catch 8 fish, or, I could have probably caught that at Grayson.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about next week pushing the show back to like 7:30 with the time change, because by 8:30, bud, my pilot light's flickering.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you. We've been like in bed by 9 ever since this time change. It's crazy. Old.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's dark when I go to work and dang near dark when I get home.
Yeah.
Again, there's still time to fish a Shimano Owners Tournament down at Cumberland this weekend. If you're interested, go check out a dealer in Kentucky that deals Shimano products and pick up something that's $100 or more. Or if you've already done that and they're a participating dealer, you can just get a entry form and send it. He'll send it. Then the shop owner will send it to Drew Sadler. Get you registered. I will tell you that I think he sets up flights to take off by the day or the time that you register. But one other thing that I just saw him post today is that we're going out. We're taking off with the I can't ever think of the name of it. they have another tournament series down there that's a winter series that you can fish both if you like, but we're taking off and returning with those folks. And the reason that is because he didn't want to have two different flights of boats taking off out of there and people running into each other and just making it safe. But it also wanted to give the opportunities for people to fish that winter series that may do that anyway. That way you can have potential to win some money in there. They do pay out some decent money for that winter series down there. So definitely keep that in mind. I think the takeoff is at 7:30 or a safe flight, and I believe weigh-in is at 2:30. JR said, I'm out. There you go. Hey, he's back. Maybe he's back. Hey, I'm back. Good old internet issues.
Oh, yeah. It's probably the kids are on, got all on their iPads all at once while they're getting ready for bed.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think I'm going to try to talk. I'm going to see if Whitney Stevens will come on next week and talk to us. A couple-time Bassmaster Classic qualifier. He lives up around Waverly. I just shipped him a bunch of Firebird bust baits, so maybe we'll talk to him. I think he's going to be down there. Him and Chris Malone fish together a lot. They will be. I think they're coming down on Cumberland to fish that tournament this weekend as well. I'm not for sure about that, but Chris said that they thought they were going to, but we might see them. But maybe next Tuesday we can get Whitney on and see what he's got going on. And if any of you folks out there like to be a part of the show, we'll definitely have you on. I know it's been kind of a crazy lull time right now in fishing. Promised to get back to the good stuff about fishing. Kind of been dull and drab, but right now, man, fishing around here sucks. So,
yeah, might need to get Matt Messer back on if we can. I mean, he is absolutely killing it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure he'd do it too.
Mm-hmm. I think he's going to qualify for elites, or I certainly hope he does, of course.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be awesome. But guys, I'm going to wrap it up this evening. I'm getting a little tired and a little droopy in the eyes. I've been up fairly today, and Misty and I were just about in a car wreck last night that zapped me. We skated across about, 100 yards of ice on a bridge on 52 last night, and it was Misty is in a loaner vehicle anywhere, and we're in a $70,000 GMC Sierra truck that had 4 miles on it. And we come across this bridge, man, almost sideways. And luckily, on the other side of it, there was no ice. And the tires caught, and we went on. And then we went up about another 2 miles, and there was wrecks everywhere. We sat on the highway on 52 for what seemed like 3 hours last night.
Too early for that junk. Jeez.
Yep. I think that's what it was. The ODOT didn't think about it. That's why we sat in traffic so long. They were waiting for ODOT to show up with salt trucks to salt those bridges so we could get across it. It was bad. They closed all the bridges around here, like Ashland Bridge, Huntington Bridge. All of them are closed down because of wrecks. It was nuts. For 2 hours last night, it got freaking wild around here. But again, guys, appreciate you guys sticking around for this episode. I'm kind of drab and boring this week. Got more episodes about fishing coming up soon, I promise. We're going to push it back next week, or actually push it forward, 7:30. That way folks are not sitting around trying not to go to sleep like I am. Maybe we can draw some more people in that way. So, guys, if you appreciate it, you guys, showing support means a whole lot. If you're down at the Shimano Owners Tournament, say hi. We'll be around. I'm sure of it. Just look for Jared's got an old or brand new Phoenix, and mine's an old Stratus, which is probably one of the only Stratus boats you'll see in the field. But it's all good. And we'll see you guys next week. Again, I'll post some stuff about it. But let's kind of ramp up to 7:30 and see what happens. We'll get a few more people on, and maybe we can be a little less dead. You guys know what to do, though. If you can, get out there and lean on them. We'll see you next time on Another Line.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of On Another Line Live. We truly appreciate your support. And we couldn't do it without all the amazing folks at home watching week after week. A big thank you goes out to our sponsors, who help make this show possible. Malone's Marine, Borders Sporting Goods, Solar Bat Sunglasses, Picasso Lures, Shimano, and Columbia Sportswear. Their partnership allows us to keep bringing you the content you love. We'll see you next time on another line. Until then, get out there and lean on them.